Hey everybody, welcome back to Comics Should Smell Good. We have another very, very big, not quite as much quantity as last week, but so many huge books this week. We've got new stuff from DC, we've got new stuff from Valiant, an awesome new annual, all kinds of things. So, without further ado, why don't you go ahead and take it away here, Casey?
Alright. So, for this week, I'm going to start off with something that is for the kids, that is for the old people, that is for the middle-aged, that is for everyone. Cursed Pirate Girl by Jeremy Bastian. This man is so extremely meticulous that he's only done this comic. There's like one more annual after this, but this guy is, I don't know, he just kind of came out of nowhere and did this amazing, very Alice in Wonderland-y book about a young girl who is basically a young pirate girl who is searching for her father, and a young debutante girl who is searching for a life of adventure. They kind of switch, and usually you end up realizing that you miss exactly what you had, and what you were looking for maybe was not worth the journey. But that is the joy of life. And this has more undersea awesome adventure than you could shake a stick at, and it is just absolutely and utterly one of the most gorgeous comics I've ever seen. Great soft cover from Archaia, $20. The hardcover's been out of print. He will be at the con in a couple of weeks as well, and hasn't been here in about 5 years. So pick this up, and you can get him to sign at the show.
It is also Happy Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice Week, and this is also the week that Batman 50, this is the long-awaited, finally, Bruce Wayne is got his memory back as Batman. He's back in the armor. He's helping Jim Gordon take on the threat of Mr. Bloom. He's doing his seeds of evil all over the city. And Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, this is kind of the building up toward the swan song, the end of their epic run that began in 2011 with the New 52. They have been the Batman team.
I can't believe it's been like 5 years.
Isn't it crazy? And 50 issues, and I think they've been the most of them consistently.
Absolutely.
And it's incredible. Yeah. And there's just some like moments that make you say expletive several times as you were reading this. There's a lot of mech, as we were talking about.
Oh.
I
love that they've stealthily turned it into a mech comic.
It is.
It's amazing.
Cool.
Yeah.
But this is the big conclusion, and it's their big finale. Finally back, and also more for Batman fans. You know, there's been a big change. Dick Grayson was no longer Nightwing after what happened in Forever Evil, which we love talking about how that sounds like, you know, the fragrance for supervillains. But anyway,
you definitely
I love saying that over and over again. Anyway, Grayson 18. This is the big. You know, he's been a super spy. He's been undercover in Spiral, going against this weird conspiracy. It's just kind of like the comic book is weird because it's kind of spy-like and crime-like. But it's like those weird 60s, kind of like, you know, The Prisoner and all that kind of weird stuff, but like on all kinds of hallucinogenic drugs. That's some crazy stuff. And there's a lot of stuff, if you're a fan of Grant Morrison's Leviathan, there's a little bit of that. But this is kind of a big showdown. It's Grayson, it's Spiral, it's Midnighters involved. It's a big showdown. The New 52 version of Helen Bertinelli and what her real end game is. So a lot of end games, a lot of conclusions. And we're building up. This is it. The end of the New 52 is coming. DC Rebirth is coming next month. We'll find out a lot more about it at WonderCon this weekend.
We'll be talking about more of that.
We'll be talking about that. I'll be blogging about it on comicsman.com. But for now, these are the two big DC things to really just savor this week before the big announcement and big changes coming in June.
And I've got something from Marvel for you here. This is the final issue of at least Frank Cho's run on the Totally Awesome Hulk.
Oh man, is that it already
for
him?
4 issues. Mike Choi is on the next issue. Also very, very talented artist, but he is no Frank Cho.
Yeah, sorry.
This is the conclusion, at least as far as I can tell, of the saga of Lady Hellbender, who's this awesome, like, alien queen who just conquers monsters, and she set her sights on the Hulk. Obviously.
It's a great name.
Because he is Earth's greatest monster. This also has some really awesome She-Hulk action. Amadeus Cho's sister has been a main supporting character in this. Miles Morales has been hanging around for some reason.
Really? They put him in that book? Cool.
He's just there. It's pretty natural.
As Spider-Man or as Miles?
Yeah, as Spider-Man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is a ton of fun here, and you've also got a bit of a clue as to what happened to Bruce Banner, which is cool.
Ooh, yeah, what did happen to Bruce Banner,
It's
actually?
complicated. Just read the comic, man.
Didn't he get shot, like, last year or something in the
Supposedly
head?
we're going to find out in Civil War II.
Oh, alright.
We're going to find out where he was during these 8 months.
Something far less complicated. The Turtles. Very straightforward. Very amazing. Very timeless. Mateus Santaluco returns to art chores here. Santaluco is my favorite Turtles artist currently. Maybe almost even of all time. This dude is freaking amazing. I gotta say, he has done some brilliant redesigns on like Mondo Gecko, and the way that he draws Bebop and Rocksteady, and the Turtles too. Like they look like kids, but they're kind of old. Like it's
like
really
they're
awesome.
Teenagers?
I know. Can you believe it?
Oh my god!
Can you believe it? It's astounding. And we almost thought they had Jim Lee spacesuits, but no. So, but otherwise, there's a lot of awesome alligator action in the Technodrome, Krang. This is the beginning of the new Santaluco arc. So jump on.
Back to something complicated, but they're trying to make it simple. Hyperion, he is kind of like this on the Marvel Universe. He's kind of like he started as kind of like an evil Superman from an alternate Earth, and then I love the Hyperion that was in Jonathan Hickman's Avengers when him and Thor were kind of like bro gods.
That was awesome.
They're like, hey bro,
That's kind of cool.
And they both grew beards together and bonded over
just,
like dinosaurs or something.
Because where is Squadron Supreme from now? Are they?
They're from a whole bunch of different
Whole
Earths.
bunch of
Okay,
different
they're
Earths.
pulling all of them
Yeah, like they
together.
have one of the guys from DP7 from New Universe as their Flash, basically.
See?
It's awesome.
God.
See? And so as you know, when Hickman
Yes.
was kind of wrapping up his Avengers run before Secret Wars, like Namor and all those other guys, they were like destroying all these worlds. So Hyperion is one of the last survivors of his universe, and he banded together with the Squadron Supreme in the new one. You know, they killed Namor. They just started like taking justice in their own hands. So they're in our Earth now. But Hyperion is kind of like questioning all that. So he's kind of going off on his own kind of solo adventure. If you were a fan of like, which I love, that Ares series by Michael Oeming and Travel Foreman. This is kind of like, you know, a big hero who kind of takes off his, not suit, but he kind of become an everyman kind of thing and goes out into his own adventures in the world. So I love the character. There's so many variations, so I'm still getting to know this version of Hyperion. But number one, kind of new issue for something different if you're a fan of Squadron Supreme.
And I have something from the Image side of things over here. Actually, two big debuts here. First, the graphic novel The Rattler by writer Jason McNamara and artist Greg Hinkle, who recently did Airboy, which was easily one of the funniest comics all last year, maybe second behind the Auteur.
Yeah, I think the Auteur might have edged that one out
Yeah,
just a little bit, but that's...
Honestly,
yeah.
that's not even a diss on
No.
Airboy. James Robinson and Greg Hinkle knocked it out of the park on that book. Greg Hinkle does all his own art, like pencils, inks, colors. It's a beautiful work. And this is more of a horror story here. And the description on the back involves this guy named Stephen Thorne, whose fiance disappears. And 10 years later, he's become like an advocate for victims' rights. And then he starts imagining her voice coming from really weird places. But from what I've seen, just flipping through this goes so far beyond that into the realm of like weird slasher torture stuff. And if there's anything I love, it's weird slasher torture stuff.
Especially well drawn.
Yeah.
Weird slasher torture stuff.
Weird cartoony slasher torture stuff.
Yeah.
It's perfect, honestly.
He does that like black, white, and red, which is...
This is done in one, $15, new graphic novel from Image. What is not to love?
Nope.
And also on the cartoony side of things, we've got a new #1 from the man himself, Kyle Baker.
Very excited.
One of the greatest cartoonists of the 20th and 21st centuries. I shouldn't really have to explain who Kyle Baker is, honestly. If you haven't read his Plastic Man, do yourself a favor, go pick that up. That is beauty, honestly. Beauty incarnate. But this sees him teaming with writer Kevin McCarthy to tell the story of Circuit Breaker, who is the sort of an Astro Boy type character, created as the granddaughter of a scientist who used to make a bunch of robots, but then people started being like, wait, aren't robots going to take over the world? So he was like, oh crap, I better disguise my last robot as a human. And she is now tasked with taking down all the robots who, lo and behold, are trying to take over the world.
See those robots, man, I'm telling you.
Can't trust them.
Frickin' robots.
Either side with them now, or, whatever. Speaking of robots, Rust, from local artist and writer Royan Lepp. This is the prequel volume collecting the 3 Free Comic Book Day shorts, as well as the upcoming prologue that has not been released for the 4th and final installment. This is a really cool book that uses kind of the farmland cornfields setting to do a really kind of interesting, almost kind of Astro Boy deal where there is a boy built for battle who is a robot, and then through his relationship with another young boy who lives on the farm, who he may or may not have some secret kind of history with, he is learning that he can become more than just a robot. That he's learning like what it is to be a human and all that type of stuff. So you get really cool like coming of age things mixed with a really great kind of color palette of this kind of environment you don't see a lot, and it's only $11. Really, really fun stuff. Put up by Archaia. Very just nice package. So if you want some great all ages stuff, boom.
And let me start mine with, speaking of robots again, the Vision is kind of this kind of weird kind of stealth character that Marvel is using as a really cool way. You've heard Morgan rave about the Vision solo series, but all the creepy, weird stuff is going down in all new, all different Avengers. The Vision kind of is orchestrating this kind of descent among the team, and he's really messing. He's going to continue to mess with Ms. Marvel in this one.
Really?
But this tie-in is setting it as part of Standoff, which, as you know, Maria Hill had this kind of, she used the Cosmic Cube to create this kind of weird kind of Twin Peaksy kind of a town that like the villains didn't know they were like prisoners in, and now it's all coming out, and the Avengers are confronting Maria Hill and S.H.I.E.L.D. And of course, as you can see by this one, there's no spoiler here. This is all new, all different Avengers versus the Uncanny Avengers. The big build-up is here. Plus Iron Man gets in it. Maria Hill is going down. Avengers Standoff, a lot of fun. And there's still a lot of cool stuff going on with Sam Wilson and Jane Foster. They're still exploring their relationship. There's even love in a time of conspiracy and civil war.
It's an Avengers book.
It is.
Right.
Let there be hope and love.
Yeah, right?
And something that is definitely not an Avengers book. From Vertigo, I've got the 4th issue of Last Gang in Town. This has been definitely a huge surprise hit for me. Writer Simon Oliver and artist Rufus Dayglow, along with Julia Brusco, who is, I think, one of the best new colorists. Or I don't know if she's actually new or what, but I've only just started to notice her. She's also doing The Goddamned. And together, they just put so much energy into this comic. This is like some of the best pure cartooning that I've seen in a comic book in so long.
Yeah, it's real like old school Mad Magazine
cartooning.
Yeah. Really badass.
And of course, hugely Jamie Hewlett influenced, since, Rufus Dayglow did Tank Girl for years.
Yeah.
Years and years.
Yeah. And, wow, this is my last pick of the week already, but I'm
Real
very
American
excited.
hero.
That's right. G.I. Joe. Okay, I don't care that this is G.I. Joe. No, Corey Lewis. That's right. Corey Lewis and Paul Lore. Corey Lewis is, of course, the awesome Seattle-based creator of Shark Knife and Sun Bakery and the upcoming Sun Bakery. His stuff is, it's what I want in comics. It's just energy and pure love for the medium, and it's just rough and fun and really bright. Lots of pinks and blues and colors that contrast. I have, whatever, no connection to G.I. Joe. Doesn't matter. This is Cobra Commander ruling the world. You can get behind that, right? I can get behind that. I mean, let's all say it together, really? Cobra la 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 la! Oh, man, I got nothing on that. Anyway.
Make America Cobra again?
Sure.
Yeah!
Oh! But no, one shot, $5. You don't pick this up, I'm going to give you a dirty look.
I just have to say a huge thanks to all the fans who love Bailey Hoskins in this book, because on Comic Splendor, here's what happens. Here's a regular day of people watching. All of a sudden, something about Bailey Hoskins, and it's... People are loving reading what I've been writing about this, so thank you. So, of course, I'm going to give the people what they want, and I'm going to say, buy this book this week.
Yeah.
X-Man, the worst X-Man. Here's what's fun about it. It's definitely not in continuity. It's X-Men of different kinds, if you like the old Wolverine, if you like different characters all together. But at the heart of it is Bailey, who really is the worst X-Men ever. We found out in the first issue, I don't want to give it away, why he really is. He's kind of the suckiest power ever, but somehow he's got the heart and spirit. It's kind of like Steve Rogers in a way. Even if you take out the super serum, he's a good guy. He's a really good guy. He just wants to do the right thing. And so Bailey is doing that. He kind of defies the odds of his mutant power. But then, after facing some big heavy hitters now, what is Mystique? She sees some value in him. What is she planning for Bailey? But a lot of fun. This is by Max Bemis, the lead singer of Say Anything. Michael Walsh, who did, was it Secret Avengers?
Yes.
Yeah.
With Arlish Cobb.
Yes.
Yeah, and he did that other... Yeah, he did some stuff with Arlish Cobb, which was good, yeah.
So cool art, cool music turned writer, and kind of an out there kind of X-Men story that's kind of fun. So enjoy, dive in.
What is his mutant power, though? Just whisper it to me.
He's He's got 3 faces.
Blow it one time. So he uses the power once.
That does suck.
See?
That's really crappy.
That
Oh,
actually
man.
is worse than Maggot and Marrow.
Maggot has awesome powers. I don't want to hear it.
Ooh, going below the belt here.
Right? And Marrow, she never runs out of ammo, dude. Come on.
Man. Speaking of people who never run out of ammo.
Right?
Oh, I mentioned that big annual from Valiant. We have Bloodshot Reborn Annual #1.
64 pages of violence.
Just violence.
Just
all
violence.
The first story has him basically fighting Jason Voorhees, who, as I mentioned, I love slashers and torture. And I love people getting, like, stabbed a whole bunch.
Dude, it's
except
Kano
not in
doing
real life. I
hard.
need to make that distinction. But yeah, that's awesome. Kano does that story. You've got Ray Fox doing a cool watercolor thing in
Yeah,
here.
it's kind of funky, yeah.
You have a really cool blood squirt story. Paul Mabry has a pin-up in here. And you also have possibly the greatest team-up of all time.
Yes.
Michelle Fife, Ben Mara,
Yes.
Bloodshot. It is beautiful. So cool. Like,
It's
I
what,
don't know
6
what we did
pages?
to deserve that,
It's
honestly.
worth it's worth the whole book.
Yeah.
It is.
And
It's
honestly,
just,
everything else in here is almost as cool.
yeah.
Just about.
It's not their fault they're not Ben Mara. It's
Pretty
okay.
much.
That's not their fault. We won't blame them for that. But we will blame you if you don't buy these comics that we have taken the time and so passionately to push to
And
you.
lovingly.
That's right.
That's right.
So don't disappoint us. God, we're your favorite comic monkeys. Huh?
And we have a bonus video coming up for you this week. If you haven't seen this one, keep looking on our little feed here because we're going to have a very special edition in honor of Batman vs Superman: The Dawn of Justice.
Which side are you on? Or wait, no, that's the
That's
wrong
Civil
one,
War
isn't it?
II.
Whatever, man. I don't know. All right,
Everybody's fighting
Go with
everybody.
the Spider Guy. That's the good side,
Spider
right?
Guy.
That's right.
Yeah, I guess. Whatever. You decide. We'll see you later.